Hi and a very warm welcome to Educate Hindustan. In this video, we'll study the second part of chemical reaction and equation, and we'll study chemical equations in detail. Now, as we have already studied the definition of chemical equation as the representation of chemical reactions using symbols of the substances. Here, the arrow shows the direction of the reaction, the left hand side of the arrow shows the reactants, and the right hand side shows the products. And the reactants A and B react together to form product C and D. Now we are in the position to define the reactants and the products. Hence, reactant are the substances which take part in chemical reaction, and the new substances formed after the chemical reactions are known as products. So, reactants are shown on the left hand side and products on the right hand side. Okay, now let me take an example. When magnesium is burnt in air, magnesium oxide is formed. So, if we write the word equation for this, then magnesium plus oxygen gives magnesium oxide. But there should be a concise way to represent this. Hence, we represent the chemical reaction in the form of chemical formula. So, instead of writing magnesium, we'll write Mg, and instead of oxygen, we'll write O2, and it gives MgO, that is magnesium oxide. But we can see that the equation is not balanced, so there is a need to balance the equation. Here the number of oxygen atom on the reactant side is 2 and on the product side is 1. Hence, to make it same, we have to write 2 MgO to make it 2. But now the number of magnesium atom on reactant side is 1. Hence, we will write 2 Mg plus O2 gives 2 MgO, and the equation is balanced on both the sides. But still we need to understand the balancing of equation, because it was an easy example, but there are many difficult examples also. Hence, let's start understanding how to balance chemical equation. Now, what is balanced chemical equation? It is the equation in which the number of atoms of each element is equal on both the sides. See, here we can see that zinc is 1 on both the sides, hydrogen is 2 on both the sides, sulfur is 1 on both the sides, and oxygen is 4 on both the sides. Hence, it's a balanced chemical equation. But there are many examples of unbalanced chemical equations also, in which the number of each element in the reactant is not equal to the number of atoms of each element on the product side. Hence, there is a need to balance the chemical equation. Now, in this example, we can see that the number of atoms of iron, hydrogen and oxygen are not equal on reactant as well as the product side. Hence, there is a need to balance this equation. So, let's start with the first step of balancing the equation. Now, in the first step, we'll write the number of atoms of each element present in the reactant and the product side. So, here let's write the number of atoms of Fe as 1 and 3, H as 2 and 4, and oxygen O as 1 and 4 on the reactant and the product side respectively. Now, in the second step, what we are going to do is we'll balance the atom which is the maximum in number on either side of the chemical equation. So, in this oxygen is 4 on product side and 1 on reactant side. So, we'll multiply H2O with 4 on the reactant side to make it 4 on both the sides. Now, by doing this, what happens is that the number of atoms of hydrogen on reactant side becomes 8 and it is still 2 on the right hand side. Hence, we will multiply hydrogen on right hand side with 4 and it will become the number of atoms will become 8 on both the sides. Now, oxygen is balanced, hydrogen is balanced. Now, there is a need to balance iron. So, on the product side, iron is 3, that is Fe is 3, and on reactant side it is 1. Hence we'll multiply 3 with iron so that it becomes 3 on both the sides. Now our final equation becomes 3Fe plus 4H2O gives Fe2O3 plus 4H2, and the number of atoms of each element becomes equal on reactant and product sides, and hence the equation becomes balanced. Now for the complete representation of the chemical equation, we should also mention the physical state of the substances in the chemical equation. Now for gases, it should be G, liquid L, solid S. For aqueous solution, that is in water, it should be AQ. And we should also mention the conditions in which the reaction is taking place. Like if it is heat, we should write heat. If it is electricity, we should write electricity on the top of the arrow which will represent the conditions in which the reaction takes place. Now for example, when calcium carbonate, which is in solid state, is heated, which heat is written on the top of the arrow, calcium oxide, which is solid in state, and carbon dioxide, which is gaseous in state, is formed. Hence this is a complete representation of the chemical equation. So you should try to write it completely. Okay, to make the concept strong, try to balance all these equations on the screen. Pause the video, write it down on the copy, and try balancing them, and get such equations from other books and try to balance them. If you have any doubts, you just mention in the comment. I will try to solve them. And if you want more such videos, you subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to press the like button if you really like the video and you understood the concept. If you want to suggest me something or improvements, then just write me at educatehindustan@gmail.com, and for the notes, go to educatehindustan.blogspot.in. So by studying, learning and understanding the concepts, you can help me educate Hindustan. Thank you so much.